Hello everyone and welcome to our Silver Moments. My name is Colleen and I'm pleased that you're here with me today in my kitchen. Today I am going to work on a recipe that was given to me probably, I don't know, I want to say 20 years ago, but maybe not that long. Time does seem to fly along fast, but maybe not that fast. Anyway, today I'm going to work on a recipe for a cupcake called a black bottom cupcake, which is a chocolate cupcake that has cream cheese, I want to say filling, but it's cooked into the cupcake. They're quite delicious, and I know it's not a new recipe for some of you, but there will be some of you who don't know about this recipe, and those of you that have cooked it before, maybe you just needed a reminder about it, and now you'll go out and cook it again. So I'm going to gather up the ingredients for the first part of the recipe, and I will be right back after this. Okay, for the first part of this cupcake, we are going to start off by making the cream cheese filling. And I'm going to start with 8 ounces or 1 cup of room temperature softened cream cheese. And we want it softened because it whips up better, and we want to whip up this recipe quite a bit. And when we move on, we're going to move on to make the recipe, when we move on for the rest of the recipe, we are going to put this in the refrigerator because it definitely helps the cupcakes to stand up better if this is a bit cooler. So I'm going to do that. So we have 8 ounces of cream cheese. To that I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of just white sugar. And I'm going to give this a mix right now, and then I will come back to add the rest of it. Now I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Got the little cardboard thing stuck on the top there. Just 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla to this. 1 room temperature egg. And I'm going to whip this now for about 5 minutes because I want it to pick up a lot of air along the way. Now I've got it mixed up as much as I want it to be, and I'm going to add to it 1 cup of mini chocolate chips. Maybe I am, if I can get in. And these are just semi-sweet. Everything about this recipe is sweet enough. I don't think that you need to add any more here in the chocolate chips. And there's almost as many chocolate chips as there is cheesecake. Well, I guess there is, by volume anyway. Now, I'm just going to mix this up good. And I am going to cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now I'm going to mix together the wet ingredients for these cupcakes. So I have in here a cup of milk. It's chilled right out of the fridge. You could make it room temperature for sure. I need to get into this. It seems to be that kind of a day where everything's unopened. I need 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And I need a teaspoon of vanilla. Whoops, let's not do that. Got the little cardboard thing in there. And we need 1/2 cup of oil. Now, a little bit about these cupcakes. My husband and I were for many years involved with the local Junior B hockey club. They're called the Golden Rockets. and we're still huge fans, although we don't attend many games anymore. During the 12 years that we were a part of the organization, we had a lot. I think over the 12 years we had 38 hockey billets come into our home. Some of them were just there for a day or two. Well, they found a permanent place to stay, but some of them stayed with us for a long time. Two of the boys that we had were brothers. One stayed with us for most of the season, the other one just for a short time. Their names were Tanner and Carter, and they came with a supply of black bottom cupcakes that their grandmother made. And they enjoyed them so much, I thought, I have to learn how to make these. So I asked her for the recipe and she shared it with me. So that's how I got this recipe, and we've loved it ever since, made it many times. So now I'm going to move on to the dry ingredients. And I'm just going to measure the dry ingredients into this bowl and then dump them into that bowl. Now you could just put a strainer over top of this and dump everything into there, but I'm being a little more cautious right now. So I need 1.5 cups of flour, and we need 1/3 cup of cocoa. Now use whatever kind of cocoa is your favorite. Oh, there's the lid. And I need 1/3 cup of that. Man, I don't seem to be very organized today. And here's 1/3 cup. So I need 1/3 cup of cocoa. And it's just a good powdered cocoa. This one happens to be Hershey's. And I love cooking with powdered cocoa. It has such a deep, rich flavor, and you're never going to mistake it for chocolate that has been melted into a recipe. You know when you have cocoa in something. Just grab this. I need now to open this box. Everything must be new today, I guess. Open this box, and I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Just good old baking soda. I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that's it for the dry ingredients. I'm going to mix them all together quite well. Whoops, little spilly pants there. So we really enjoyed our time as hockey billets. We made lots of wonderful friends, and we were involved in the lives of, even if it was briefly, for a lot of young men, and we wouldn't take that time back for anything. It was a super good experience. So if you have an opportunity to be a hockey billet in the town you live in, or really any kind of a billet where you bring young people into your home and you have an opportunity to make a difference in their lives, or just be there to support them, don't ever be afraid to do it, because you're certainly going to find the benefit in it if you do it for very long. So we just mix the dry ingredients into the wet, and I'm just going to kind of get it a little wet, and then I am going to move to the beater, and I'm going to beat it until it's smooth. Now I rinsed the beater, but I didn't wash the beater. There's no need to. It's all the same recipe. Now I looked at this and it looks quite thick, so I went back through my recipe and I realized I forgot to put any sugar in there. So I am now going to add a whole cup of sugar to this recipe. And mix that in. Now, let's just clean off these beaters a bit. I have my oven heating up to 350 degrees, and I am just going to pop some cupcake liners into my cupcake pans, into my muffin tins. And I had to use these ones, although they're not my favorite. These are like parchment paper. So once they're cooked, they peel away from the cupcake too quickly, I feel. So, but it will serve the purpose for today. And I will have to put that on my list of things to pick up. So I should be able to get 16, somewhere between 12 and 16, I'm not sure. I'm actually going to get a spoon. This is my backup. I'm actually going to give a try to using my cookie scoop and see how much it fills. If everything's covered with syrup today. So these cupcake liners, we want them to be about half full, not more than half full. So I'm going to just go around, and this is, if I'm measuring up the side of my muffin tin, which is a shallow one, they're definitely halfway. So I will continue to use this because it seems to be working pretty well. Now these cupcakes do not rise up as much as you may be used to in a cupcake. Once you put the filling in, they do tend to settle in the middle where the filling is. And I've tried several different things to make them stand better, and the only thing that really seemed to help me out was by chilling the filling. So I've done that. We'll see if that's going to, if that was a fluke or if it's actually a good plan. Now, I'm so happy to be able to bring this to you, and I wanted to just say to everybody that's just been so supportive in the last month, thank you so much for all your great comments, for following along, for viewing my channel. You've really made me feel good about myself and about what I do here. I started this channel off so that my kids would have something that they could remember me by when I was not here on this earth any longer. And they say that once it's on the internet, it never goes away. So that's my hope, that this channel will continue on long after I'm gone, and that my kids will be able to, at any time they want, tune up a video and cook beside me. And that includes all my hockey kids and their families. So now I'm just going to reach into the fridge and I am going to grab the filling. Now this is a little tricky because I don't have a little tiny scoop, but we need about 1 tablespoon of filling on each cupcake. And I'm going to try and place it right in the middle. And don't mess with it too much. Just kind of set it on there. I'm not deliberately trying to push it out to the sides. Just set it right in the middle. And I think maybe some of the chocolate chips settled to the bottom, so I'm going to give it a stir before I go too much further. These are really delicious, and one of our little grandchildren looked at it and turned up their nose, and then once they were, you know, convinced they should really give it a try, that it was delicious and it would be in their best interest, they did, and they couldn't believe it. You could see their little eyes pop. And the same with like our adult grown friends. They're like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Now I do have some left over. That could lead to one of those things that happens in kitchens sometimes, you know, where now you have to make another batch of the chocolate cake, and then you're going to run short of filling, and then you have to make more filling. No, not today. Today I'm going to put this into the refrigerator because these cupcakes are going to be a gift today, and then I'm going to make some to go into our freezer. These freeze super well, and they'll be ready for us to pull out over the holidays anytime we need them. So they're going to go into the 350 degree oven around 18 minutes. You want to use a toothpick and test to make sure that the dough is cooked in the middle, but usually around 18 minutes is kind of that sweet spot. And once they come back out, I'm going to cool them completely in the pans before I put them out onto the cooling rack. And at that point, I'll bring you back and show you what the finished product looks like. These are going into the oven. I'll see you in a minute. Well, here they are, folks. I hope that you can see them well. You could definitely add icing to the tops of these if you chose to. They do come out to be a little flatter. I don't add icing to them because that cream cheese filling is really all I think you need. But if you wanted to fancy them up for a party, you could definitely add some frosting piped onto the top and maybe, you know, decorate them a little bit. But we certainly do enjoy them just the way they are. I should say I left these because I kept testing with a toothpick. I left these in the oven for 22 minutes, so that's the importance of testing with a toothpick. The recipe actually says 18 to 20 minutes. They weren't ready at 20 minutes. So maybe my oven's a little off, or maybe the recipe, or maybe I put more filling into my liner than the recipe really intended. Who knows? But if you're testing consistently, you won't have any problem with them. So folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you'll give these cupcakes a try. They're really delicious, and they impress people. They can't figure out what kind of a wizard you are to be able to cook the cheesecake into the chocolate cake. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave us a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.